It's always, how did it go to 15 seconds? Just like that. It's always right when you think you've got it figured out, right? It's always right when you think you've got the system figured out. Like that's when you get like a little surprise. You're like, surprise! You don't quite have it figured out as bad as, as much as you thought you did. So I apologize, a couple minutes late this morning, but let's do this.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? You see, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts. Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to seven, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? I am still getting used to the home studio. That's right, I'm coming to you live today from the home studio. We've got the studio that I've got in Lexington, which is about 15-20 minutes from my house. And then we have the studio that's here in the house that we're still in the process, as you can see, we're still in the process of putting together and finishing up. But today we're coming to you live from the home studio where we've been doing this season. We've been doing this series this week. We've been talking about back to school. When it comes to this back to school season, learning new things, challenging ourselves, what can we learn from our back to school and what can we learn from the back to school that our children, that looks a little different for our children today. So we're going to dive into that a little bit further. Before we do, I do want to give a shout out to Scott Simons, Liza Myers-Borges, and Ben St. Hours, and Mike and Tina Overfelt. Quick little shout out to those over there at CMA. They have challenged me. They challenged me 2 days ago, I guess it was. Scott Simons challenged me to help raise awareness for Operation Wounded Warrior. And the problem out there is that we have 22 veterans a day that are making that horrible, awful decision to take their own life, right? Which is the worst. Believe me, I know, I've been there. I tried, I get it. And so 22 veterans a day have been making this horrible, awful decision to take their life. And Operation Wounded Warrior is on a mission to completely eradicate suicide from our veterans. And so to raise awareness for that, they've been doing a 10K a day, right? Ben's been doing a 10K a day. He did one, Ben St. Hours did his late last night in the rain because he had slept in yesterday, but they've been doing a 10K a day. Running wise, I don't have the time window to be able to run a 10K a day, but I did yesterday go out and I ran 2 miles, and then I followed that up with a bike ride I ran 2 miles and followed that up with a bike ride of 4.5 miles to do the 10K. So I am on back-to-back 10Ks. I'm going to do another one today. And so I just want to shout out to you guys for challenging me to do that. My kids, this is Joel, who I remember, if you remember on Tuesday, I told you that Joel had said, I can't. He had said, when I told him we were going 6.2 miles, he was like, no way, can't do it, not happening. He got it in his head that it couldn't be done. And therefore, he actually quit just over like a mile in. Well, yesterday, my boy didn't quit. Yesterday, he did the full 6.2 miles. And so I'm just so thankful that I got challenged by Scott and those guys to go out, because I've been using this time in the morning during this kind of weird and awkward season to really spend some time with the kids, like getting them out, getting them up, going for bike rides. They're getting up at 6:30 in the morning, all of those things. And I'm just so thankful for that morning routine. So just wanted to raise a little bit more awareness for that. You can go support that. They're raising funds. They're raising money. You can support that by doing a 10K a day every day for 22 days. You can do that however you want to support that and push that out there to raise that awareness. It's super, super important, and something that we should all get behind and be a part of. So been doing that with the kids in the morning, which has been powerful, keeping them out of bed. Willow, my sweet Willow, is even riding with us now. She rode yesterday, and that was incredible. And so I just got to tell you, if you're looking for something to do with the kids during this season, right? Like if you're looking for something to do with them, it's a little bit different for them this year than it has maybe been in the past. School looks a little bit different for a lot of that banner, it's so weird. I got to figure that out. For those of you that are listening on the podcast, you're like, what's he talking about? The video's just weird. It's different. I'm still learning some things at the home studio. But if you're looking for some things to do with your kids, I highly suggest waking up, get them up early, man. Get them up early, spend some time with them first thing in the morning. It is so incredibly impactful in their lives, and it's been so incredibly impactful in my life as well. It's been absolutely incredible. So get them up early, let them go run with you, let them go work out with you, let them go ride bikes with you, create those memories first thing in the morning, because if you can change their morning routine during this season, it's incredibly healthy, just like it is as far as your morning routine and the importance of that. So do what you can is what I'm trying to say, because you remember what your back to school was like, right? Your back to school was like all this fun stuff and new clothes and going in, and we shifted and we're pivoting. We're doing all these new things. We got new teachers. We get to see our friends. We get to be social. We get to maybe ride the bus if we were like a bus rider. And then you got the time after school, and back to school used to be this really fun, interesting, like season that we really looked forward to. And our kids right now, it's just a little bit different, right? It's just a little bit different in this season of the stuff, is what we call it. We don't even say the name of it. And so I challenge you to really find that space and find that time that you can make this season a little bit more normal for your kids. Really pour into them and create those environments. It makes a difference. We've been talking about back to school all week this week, and how it has been different, but it is very positive. What's up, Pam Woosley? First time watching the show. Great to have you here. We also have talked about how important it is to be a lifelong student. We really dove into that a lot yesterday, just the importance of constantly leveling up, learning new things, challenging ourselves. We also talked about this week how in school it's crazy, because school really teaches us to pivot. It teaches us to shift. It teaches us to adjust. It teaches us to adapt. It teaches us all of those things. And after we go through school, what's up, Amanda Sanner? After we go through school, how does that all commence? Where does it all end? Where does it all take us? Where does it always lead? What is the big commencement? And the answer to that question is graduation, right? Graduation. You go through all these years of school. You do all of these things. You pip, you shiv it, adjust, you learn all these different things. You have these social groups, these people that you hang out with, these circles, all of those things. And then you reach the big graduation, the grand finale, the end of the season. The end of the season. And then what? Well, that's what I want to dive into today. But before I do, it won't let me do like music here, so it's a little bit different. So what I want to do is I'm not going to do, and I don't know why it doesn't let you do music through StreamYard, but it doesn't. So what I want to do is I want to do this. Yes, yes. I want to do that. Yes. Okay, got it. Boom. I'm going to do that. Okay, got it. And then I'm going to go like this. Oh no. Where is it? Oh no. There it is. And I'm going to bring you my friend Heather. So will you do me a favor? Will you go ahead and hit that share button and then take some time right now to say good morning to each other while we listen to my awesome friend Heather and how she feels about this subject of back to school and graduation.
Oh, how's it going? Heather Parody, so good to see you this morning. I got my graduation hat. We got a couple of these in our house, and I was sitting here trying to figure out how do you put it on. I think the corner goes here. Am I right or wrong? It's been a few years, and I always forgot which side this goes on. Let's just say this one. I think I might have this on backwards. It's possible, but it's all good, right? It's 5:30 in the morning. We don't even care. We don't even care. We live on the edge at Rise and Grind. So one of the things I love about school, especially when you started getting into advanced degrees and started learning more about certain topics, you think you're getting smarter, but you realize you were just scratching the surface. It was so funny. Day one of, I'm going to take this off because I think it's backwards and it might be distracting. Day one of graduate school, I was studying psychology. Our professor, incredible dude. He was like one of those like just really wise people that you just want to listen to talk all the time. His name was Dr. Rao. And Dr. Rao, he had us write a paper our very first day of grad school and said, I want you to share your philosophy on human behavior. Why are we the way that we are? You knew that was a long paper. Right? Amen. Praise him. Literally, I sat down and I wrote that paper in like an hour. It was so easy because I was just sure I knew why we were the way we were, my philosophy on human behavior, all this stuff. Well, then just 2.5 years later, which isn't long at all, 2.5 years later, the very last day of school, he said, all right, y'all, he didn't say that. All right, I want you to sit down and write your philosophy on human behavior. Why are you the way that you are? Why are we the way that we are as a society? And it took me days to write that. I could not even gather my thoughts. And isn't that ironic that like that you would think 2.5 years of training later on the subject of psychology and human behavior, I have a little bit more answers. But then the deeper I got into a study and a topic, the more rich it became. And the more I realized how much I had to learn. And at the very beginning, in my ignorance, I thought I knew so much more than I actually did. And the more I learned, the more of a student I became. And man, I'm so desperate for that in my own life right now, of just like always be curious, like dig in deep to something. What is it that really interests you? Have we kind of dismissed it like, oh, I've got that, I know that, I understand morning routines, I understand be kind to your neighbor, I understand empathy, some of these things that we just dismiss as these topics that's super easy and we've got it. Maybe it's something that we can return to and become curious about and go to another depth and another level and realize how vast and broad these sometimes simple topics can be, and how much more we have to learn and how much we have to grow. I've been talking to you guys about being a lifelong student. If you didn't see the first video, it's an honor. Education is an honor. The fact that we can learn and that we're always growing It's a really cool thing, right? And it's also cool wearing these hats. I think I'm just gonna wear this today. Is that cool with y'all? Walking around the house, be like, yep, I'm a student. Anyways, love you guys. Have a phenomenal day. Back to Glenn.
The girl cracks me up, that little teeny tiny human. She's so super smart, man. So super smart. And she's spot on, right? She's spot on. The more that we know, the more that we educate ourselves, the more complex that it actually gets. It's not about getting there, owning it, knowing it, and moving on, right? It's about this constant evolution, this state of evolution that we continue to stay in. And so we do the school thing, right? We do the school thing, then we graduate. And then from there, we go into this new season, right? We kind of get older and we go into this thing where we have like our first loves, right? Everybody think back to your first love right now, right? We had your first love. And some of us were lucky enough to marry our first loves and still be with them today. Others of us had that heartbreak, right? Remember that first heartbreak? See, we had our first loves. We had our first heartbreak. I saw that Sarah Ball's getting ready to go run a 10K. You can do it, girl. Or just go as far as you can go. Maybe it's 1 mile. Maybe it's 2 miles. Maybe it's half a mile. But just get out there and go, Sarah. Proud of you, right? That first heartbreak. Then in marriage, right? We get married and we learn to play nice. Right? You learn how to play nice. You learn how to, if you haven't already, gentlemen, you learn how to put the toilet seat down after you use the potty, right? We learn to play nice, to live with someone else, that it's not always just about us, that there's other people that have value and that it's important. So we learn that, right? And then we learn things like the career, and we learn things like how to raise kids. We go through the seasons of career, the season of kids, and we continue to roll through each of these seasons as we get a little bit older. And what happens right about here is many people, Operation Restored Warrior. I'm sorry, I said Operation Wounded Warrior. It's hashtag Operation Restored Warrior. Sorry about that. All right. So what happens here is a lot of people, they end up settling in at this point. They settle in, right? They meet the love. They learn to play nice. They get the job. They have the kids, and they settle in. They settle in, and some get stuck. So this morning, what I want to do, if that's you, that might not be you. You might be living this life that's exhilarating, where you're learning and you're earning and you're killing it and all of those things. And you're a rising grinder, so there's a very good chance that that's you. For those that might be feeling a little stuck, I want to share a couple strategies, 4 actually. I'm going to give you 4 keys of how you can get unstuck, if that's maybe the way you feel. 4 ways that you can graduate to the next level. So I'm going to give you those here in just a second. Before I do, I've got to let you know about this. My team will freak out if I don't. So the team at hashtag Rise and Grind made a limited edition t-shirt, this little tie-dye t-shirt right here. This thing is amazing. Take a look at it if you can. It's beautiful. They released it yesterday. We only have 38 of these. I think there's about 16 left. So if you would like the new limited edition tie-dye t-shirt, if you want to wear that as you're talking about your back to school, as you're going back to school, if you want to relive your days back in the 70s where you used to be rocking all the tie-dye, or maybe it's a modern thing, I don't really know. The team's all about it. You better go get one. Go to glennlundy.com. There's only like 18 left, so you might want to go. Maybe you're one of those people that's not stuck, and so you can go grab a t-shirt right now. But they told me I have to tell you about it this morning or they'll kill me. So now I told you I fulfilled my end of the bargain. Now, I'm going to give you 4 tips right here, right now, of how to get unstuck. You ready? Number 1, I want you to write your story. I want you to literally sit down. Amanda says she's so stuck. I understand. Pen and paper ready. I literally need you to sit down and write your story. And as you write the story, you are the superhero. I don't want you to write a story of your victim, of anything that's happened to you in the past. I don't want you to write the story where someone else is the hero or the handsome prince that comes in and sweeps you off your feet. I don't want you to write that story at all. I don't want you to write a humble story. I want you to write a story where you're the superhero. What does that look like for you? You're the superhero, you're the main character, you're out there, you're impacting lives, you're changing the world. What does it look like? Like, write the entire story. I want you to feel it, taste it. What does it look like? How much money do you have? What does your significant other look like? And how do they act around you? What type of kids do you have? How do your kids behave? Right? What is your job? What is your career? What are you doing? What is the superhero life? What does it look like? I want you to write out your story. Completely fiction. Everything in it should be fake. Unless, I shouldn't say everything should be fake, but embellish. Write it. You see, there's something that happens when thoughts become words. You see, there's a process. First, there was the thought, then the thought becomes the word, then the word becomes action. And that's how you change your life. But if you don't write the story, if you don't take the time to dream, to map it out, to put it out into the universe, if you only keep it up here and you never turn it into physical, it makes it much harder to take action on it. And typically what most of us do is most of us tend to not want to be the hero. We don't necessarily want the spotlight to be on us. We want to highlight the benefits in other people, right? We want to highlight the team and the connections and those that have loved us and supported us. And I get that. But for this drill, I want you to be the hero. What does it look like? What does it feel like when you swoop in and save somebody's life? What does it feel like when you swoop in, right, and save the day? What does that feel like when you're the superhero, the confident, strong, powerful superhero? So that's first. I need you to write that story. Completely write it out. All right? I'm a victim of myself, Jay Wilburn. Yeah, I feel you, bro. We all go through that. All right? So step one, write your story. Amanda Sanner, write your story, girl. What is your superhero story? What does it look like? Step two is I need you to change schools. And by change schools, here's what I mean. The people that you be around, the people that you hang out around, the people that you're listening to, the people that you're learning from, you got to change schools. So this is a picture here. This is the new hashtag Rise and Grind Elite Mastermind class. This was us meeting, I think yesterday, or it might have been Mondays, I'm not sure, in this picture, but we've created an environment, right, where like-minded individuals are coming together. We're helping each other answer each other's problems. We're sharing different strategies of how we can grow, so on and so forth. You're still welcome to join hashtag Rise and Grind Elite if you would like the mastermind. As a matter of fact, we have 5 scholarships available because there's people in the Rise and Grind group that are amazing and that want to serve and want to put people in. So if money's keeping you from joining hashtag Rise and Grind Elite Mastermind, shoot me a message. We can get you one of those scholarships. But dude, you've got to change what you're listening to, who you're listening to. Like, you've got to change schools. When I was in high school, I was hanging out with a bunch of guys that we got into a lot of trouble together. A lot. My sophomore year of high school, a lot of trouble. Right? There was multiple occasions, guns involved. I thought I was going to lose my life at multiple times, fighting, just that whole environment. It wasn't good. So I literally changed schools. The first day of my junior year, I went to the principal, told him, pitched him on why I needed to go to a different school in a different school district out of where I lived. I talked them into a transfer. I walked from that school all the way across to another school. I got there just after third period. They enrolled me, showed me where our locker was. I started my first day, and then I went home and told my mom. That I changed schools. My mom was like, "What? What do you mean you changed schools? How do you even do that? How does a kid just change schools? Don't you have have to have parents' permission or something like that?" And I was like, "Well, we're not going to talk about how that happened, but I changed schools. And once I changed schools and the environment and the people that I was around, once I made that change, it made a dramatic difference in my life. It completely transformed my thought patterns, the way that I saw things. Everything changes when you change the people that you're around. So if you're feeling stuck right now, and maybe you've got some old buddies, maybe there's some old cliques that you hang out with, maybe there's some families that you spend a lot of time with. If you're feeling stuck right now, I highly suggest that you change schools. Get yourself around people with different thought patterns. It'll make a massive impact in your life. All right. Number 3 is you got to get a new teacher. You got to get a new teacher. Here's what I mean by that. Here's a picture of me on me. How about that? That looks weird, right? Looks kind of cool though. But if you've been listening to the same stuff, the same music, you've been driving the same path to work, if you've been doing the same routines, you've been doing the same habits, you've been watching hashtag Rise and Grind every day, right? If you've been doing all of that and you feel stuck, now I want to clarify this. If you've been watching hashtag Rise and Grind, you've been learning from Glenn, right? You've been doing that and you're in the routines and the habits and your life is moving forward. It is progressing, right? You are evolving. If that's the case, then I suggest you continue doing what you're doing. However, if you've just been watching, you've been watching this show, you've been watching me, you've been learning, you've been taking notes, you've been doing all of those things, but your life has not been evolving, hasn't been getting better, you still feel stuck, then you got to change the teacher. Either you got to change the teacher or you got to change the class. You either got to go, like you got to go from regular classes up into, like a master class or, to a next level class, or you got to change the teacher. I might not be the teacher for you. And I hate to say that because I want to connect with you and my relationship with you means the world to me. But what means more to me than that is your evolution. You see, I understand that as you evolve into the best version of yourself that you can possibly be, you might outgrow me. I get that. I also understand as you evolve into the absolute best version of yourself that you can possibly be, it matters. The impact that you can have on other people's lives is so incredibly valuable, right? It's so incredibly valuable. You have worth, you have value. The decisions you make an impact on your friends, your family members, your coworkers. And so if you're still feeling stuck, there's no evolution, and you're doing these same habits, driving the same way, learning from the same people, listening to the same music, if you're doing that and it's not working, then I'm going to need you to change teachers. Even if that means stopping watching, even if that means firing me, even if you got to fire Glenn. See, what's most important is your evolution. You got to be growing. We got to get you unstuck. So number 1, write your superhero story. Literally take the time to write your superhero story. Number 2, change schools, ultimately the people that you're around. Number 3, get a new teacher if your current teachers are not evolving you. They're not moving you forward. How you doing, Carter Myers? Great to see you. And number 4 is I need you to go like all in. 100%, you got to go all in. Look, there is no place for defense in today's world, and there are people that are counting on you to grow. Your entire trajectory, your entire future, everything can change with a single decision. This is my beautiful family here, all of our kids, all of us together. It's a little chaotic, right? It's a little nuts. But all of this, all of these people, all of these lives that I currently have the blessing of sharing my life with, all of them wouldn't exist if it wasn't for a single decision that I made a long time ago to get unstuck. And I jumped on a plane with $1,500 cash in a suitcase and bad credit and knew no one, and made a move to Kentucky so that I could get around new people, so that I could get some new teachers, so that I could break out of my bad habits. I completely started over new so that I could start to write my superhero story. And for me, it was a dramatic change. But that one decision changed the trajectory, the course of the rest of my life to lead me to the gifts and the blessings that I have today, to be able to have this beautiful family, to be able to share my mornings with amazing superhumans like yourself. It all came down to that one decision. I want you to get unstuck. It is time for you to graduate to the next level, whatever that looks like for you. It is time for you to graduate. All right? Listen, child of God, the God of the universe, you. Yeah, I'm talking to you, child of God, the God who made everything. Made you to be the best version of yourself that you can possibly be. Not an average version, not a below average version, not a little bit above, but the absolute best. And the decisions you make today ultimately are going to determine how far you can go, how much impact you can make, right? Because you have value, you have worth. You do. And that's why I love you. That's why I love spending the mornings with you. If nobody's told you that they love you yet today, I do want to be the first. I absolutely stinking love you. So continue to graduate. Let's go. Let's graduate to that next level, whatever that looks like for you, so you can go make an impact on other people's lives. Listen, if you need more videos like this, you can go to glennlundy.com. If you haven't done so already, you got to go get yourself one of these limited edition tie-dye Rise and Grind Cross t-shirts. Danelle Delgado bought 4 of them yesterday, so supply is limited. Go to glennlundy.com and get you one of those when you get an opportunity. But most importantly, come back here again tomorrow morning. We have Unstoppable Tracy will be on the show tomorrow morning. She's a quad amputee, right? Quad, all 4 limbs amputee, who has an incredible story about her first trip back to school and what that looked like for her, and how a single decision completely transformed and changed her life. So don't miss tomorrow's episode, hashtag Rise and Grind with Unstoppable Tracy. Have an amazing day, truly, truly amazing. And I will see you tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. on hashtag Rise and Grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts.